What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And of course, I'm joined by the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, the legendary Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, how you doing, brother?
Good, Marcus. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. Good. It's
well,
been
I got to get it in, brother. Oh,
I told Jim.
I tell you, you got to dance. Who brought you to the dance? And I've been doing a lot of hoeing, I'll tell you, over the years.
Boy, like 40
and
years.
I met Deborah and knocked it all off.
I told you're not going to hear any hoes out of me today, folks. My daughter's upstairs sleeping, so I'm going to have to behave myself.
Yeah, Pipe's not feeling well, huh?
Actually, it's the little one. It's Quinn.
Oh, it's the little one. Oh, okay. Yep. Well, shoot. Yeah, we'll even keep it extra quiet for the little one.
Yeah, she's a deep sleeper like her daddy, but we just don't want to take any risks.
Yeah. Nobody says you sleep in the ring a lot of the time. I don't know. That's what I heard, brother. I don't know.
You know, Jim, I'm glad you brought up me in the ring because there's something that I forgot to tell you here before we hit record, and that's that a week ago I challenged the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian, to a match on September 27th in Dayton, Ohio. And Jim, guess what I've heard ever since? I've heard crickets. Those two, it's pretty clear that they are afraid of me, that they don't want to have anything to do with me. So, Jim, I know that you know those guys, Barbarian and Warlord. What do you think? You think that, they're just a little intimidated by me?
Well, I tell you, I've known those guys for years. I trained with them in the gym. I've been in the ring with them as singles and tag teams. My best advice to you, Mark, is I could get a lot of advice. But the best advice I can give to you is get your will in order.
You don't think I stand a chance?
I tell you, those guys, I still see them at Comic-Cons. They're still pretty intimidating, man. Back in the day, obviously, they were monsters. But still nowadays, they cast a big shadow. So you got a tag team partner?
I haven't selected a tag team partner just yet.
Yeah, but you might have a little trouble finding somebody, brother.
They can stay on the apron, Jim. I'm going to handle these.
That's called the Sergeant Slaughter short arm tag.
That's right. Your favorite tag team partner, Sarge.
Oh, man, yeah. You'd be kicking the devil out of me, and I'd reach over. Sarge would have his arm out. I'm like, give me the tag, Sarge. He'd turn around, USA! Make the tag. Come on.
I'm begging you, Sarge.
You got him going, Duggan. You got to go out of here.
So, well, look, I'll be there in Dayton September 27th, and I don't think that those two are going to show up. I think it's pretty obvious that they're scared. You've been around me too, Jim. I'm a pretty intimidating person.
I know, yeah, brother. Never underestimate your opponent, brother. Anything can happen, man. I mean, you never know. That's why they play the game, brother. Shit, things happen out there in the ring.
We'll see how it goes. I don't think they're going to show up, but if they do, I'll handle them when they do. But Jim, enough about me. Our listeners want to hear about you. What have you been up to since last time we recorded? You've been traveling all over.
Yeah, last time I talked to you, we were just, I think, out in Lake Tahoe and stuff out in Reno, and had a good time out there. But then the week after, we were at the Wichita Comic-Con, and it was a 3-day, and it was great. It was much better. Like we did the New York City Comic-Con. It was David Starball, Jake, myself, and Ninja Turtle. Business was okay. We're in Wichita. It was me and Jack Hanneman or something. He's the big guy from Superman 2 and 3.
Yeah.
He's the great big intimidator. He's like 6'6", 6'7". He's 82 years old. Had his wife with him. He was sitting next to me. His wife and Deborah hit it off, man. So we had a great, and it was a busy Comic-Con. I mean, a lot of folks in Wichita showed up, but got to make friends with Jack. He was quite a gentleman. And then the following week we came home. The following week we were at Harpoon Hannah's right there on the Maryland-Delaware border, and brother, what a great time we had. They put us up in this fancy Dan hotel right there on the beach. And this young guy picked us up. I thought he would be a driver or something. He had a nice Mercedes and everything. And we're driving around, and he's like, well, yeah, this is a restaurant in our marina. That's our marina also. And I'm like, oh, very nice. We drive over a bridge. He goes, and there's our other restaurant. And the bigger Marine. This guy's one of those big money guys, but you would never know that he was a nice kid, young man. We had a great time, and then we're leaving after the appearance. We're leaving, and there was a girl jogging or something down the side of the road, and I'm like, well, there's somebody getting it done. And he goes, oh, that's one of our employees. They got 250 employees. The guy's like, oh, that's one of our people. You know, he was a really nice guy. We had folks, a lot of wrestling. It was a boat docking rodeo.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've never been. I've seen it on TV. Never really paid attention. But what they do is they fly in on the boat, turn it around, and back into the dock real quick, and they have to throw a lasso around one of the pilings. And they do it in like seconds, man. They all have these special boats for it. And they had thousands of people there. It was a gorgeous day, you know. And I got out there on the podium. Gentlemen, start your engines, and all the boats fire up, man. It was a lot of fun. And wrestling fans are wrestling fans. You know, there's a lot of folks there that weren't wrestling fans, obviously. I was just an added attraction. But wrestling fans, these one guy and his girl come, they drove 4 hours. And those poor folks that had Harpoon Hannah's like, these folks drove 4 hours to see. I'm like, wrestling fans, man, you'd be surprised. They go travel days to get to WrestleMania. Yeah, wrestling fans are wrestling fans. And they're like, you know, we have baseball players. They don't get no appearance. You know, they didn't NFL guys. You got to wear their jersey and have their name up there. People are showing up with 2x4s. I love the way folks that are not wrestling fans are always amazed. You know, there's a line of people that are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. You guys didn't really have uniforms. You know, you're out there in trunks and
just
whatever else.
Mug on TV, you know.
That's right.
No helmet, no shoulder pads. And plus, it was for years. You don't see many football players last 40 years, you know. I always tell folks the appeal of professional wrestling. And there's always especially back in the day, we call them closet wrestling fans. And be sitting on the plane, you're like, I'm not a wrestling fan, but aren't you Hacksaw Duggan?
Next thing you know, they're talking to you about what happened on Raw that week.
I just happened to be going through the channels, I call you. And I was like, well, my pop was alive. I said, he watched every show. He's like, Jim, you're never on TV enough.
Man, speaking of your dad, I don't know if you saw, but it was up on social media. Photos of you from September 1988 edition of WWF Magazine, where Hacksaw Goes Home was the article. And it was really cool because it was you in Glens Falls, and there was a great picture of you and your father sitting on the porch together.
Yeah, I was sitting on the porch at 15 Keenan Street. I grew up, you know, that's so many folks said they grew up in this horrible neighborhood. They had this hard knock life. This wasn't working. I grew up in Mayberry. There's me and Pop sitting on the porch swing. You know, I had 3 older sisters, lived on Keenan Street. When I was a kid, we'd, you know, play in the road. It was a great place to grow up. And, you know, I joke, everywhere else I'm Hacksaw Duggan. Even all these years later, I'm Chief Duggan's kid in Glens Falls. My dad was chief of police. You know, so I grew up a very conservative household. You know, I had 3 older sisters. You know, I rolled with the police. I wore a sport coat and tie to a public high school. I played football. And if you didn't like it, we'll fight.
And then you went to college and all hell broke loose.
I went to college. I was straight through college, man. No fraternity rushed me. They're like, no, forget Duggan. They ended up, I tell you, Marcus, I'm going to SMU homecoming. They're playing Miami in November 1st in Dallas. Deborah and I are going down.
Awesome.
They gave me 2 roommates. I went through the 2 roommates. One guy went out and partied. I put his desk out in the hall and locked the door. I'm there to play football. I ended up having a dorm room by myself. Nobody wanted a room with me. But I was that straight of a kid. And then, you know, I was going to play pro. I was on injured reserve. So that year on injured reserve, all I did was really train. And then I went to Canada, and then I started wrestling.
And that's what turned you into Wild Man Duggan.
No, man. Well, it's been a long road, but, you know, if looking back at it, I wouldn't have chased that football dream those first couple of years, you know. But I can't knock football because without football, I'd still probably be living up in Glens Falls, you know, working for the police department. I'm like, Pop, do I inherit the police department? I'm the new chief, right? You're like, no, don't work that way, Jim.
Maybe not quite like that.
But yeah, I still get home. My sister still lives in Glens Falls. My buddy Scratch, Hopkins, Askew. We go to Poopy's breakfast place. What a great place for a name for a breakfast place, right? Poopy's.
So it's got me.
And then Dirty John's was Dirty John's when I was growing up. Now it's New Way Lunch.
Folks, go and check out that article if you can get a hold of September 1988 WWF magazine. Really cool to see Jim in his hometown, post now that he's become Wild Man Duggan in the pro wrestling world. He's got the long hair and the beard, and he's back home exploring his roots. Pretty cool article.
Yeah, but my basic inner person has never changed. I am who I am. People talk about role models. My role model was sitting next to me on that porch, man. My role model was my best man at my wedding, my pop. He was a hell of a guy. That's why I joke. I come back. That's the Chief's kid, Duggan. Grew up on Keenan Street, little bastard.
Man,
if
fun
there's anybody
article.
still around, holy shit, the way the boys are dropping, boom, boom, boom.
Well, we're gonna be you're doing fine over there, Jim. You're doing okay, I can tell. And we're gonna be
you better check
about
Jake sometimes. I see him, I check his pulse right off the bat.
he's like a cigar store Indian sitting there half the time. You're like, Jake, you still around, buddy?
I guess they were just over in Paris, so I saw Jake was over in Paris.
Yeah, exploring Europe, having a good time over there. Now he's back in the States, and man, it's funny. You guys, you haven't wrestled in all these years, but you guys are out busy as ever, still making the towns. Jim, I just saw that you're going to be. They named a whole show after you, Black Label Pro. They called the show Hacksaw with Saw capitalized, like the Saw horror movie, and that's going to be up in Indiana on October 4th. Pretty cool, Jim.
Yeah, we got some great shows coming up, man. It's amazing, like I said. But Marcus, I'll be 72 in January. Deborah and I were talking. Next year we're going to slow it way down. We went for like a 5 or 6 week run where we're working every weekend. This past weekend, I took it off. Holy smokes!
Oh, man.
I'm at home like this weekend. I'm taking it off again. There's a word for it. What the hell is it? Retire. Yeah.
I don't know, Jim. Do you think after all these years of traveling, if you start taking multiple weekends off in a row, do you think you're going to get bored, or do you think you're going to have fun?
No, are you kidding, brother? I'm going to, instead of sending you pictures of at the airport with a whole bunch of people, chicken running around, I'll show you a picture of a bunch of real chickens running around, man. This morning, Deborah and I were sitting on the porch enjoying the morning, and we had a dozen Canadian geese came up from our pond. We throw out corn. Yeah, I got my little tractor. Yeah, I could kill time at home. And then that's the deal. When you feel like working, pick up a day and not quit all total, but instead of going, 6 weeks in a row, maybe twice a month or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, cut that. What the hell? I'll be getting 72. Yay!
I don't know. Those promoters are going to be knocking down the door to get Hacksaw over there.
That might be good. We have to bump the price now, That's what Jake told me when I was in the hospital. Duggan, you can bump up your prices now.
The fans are going to start feeling nostalgic.
Yeah, they always did. Get it while you can. Which a lot of folks have been busy on the HacksawJimDugganShop.com, and the 2x4s have been going good. We're out of wrestling buddies. We got to order some more wrestling buddies. And a couple of your folks have suggested I add to it. I haven't done that yet. I need to add to that shop, add a few more different pictures. I got a bunch of these, so get these out there.
Yeah. Those are rare too. They were at like one baseball game, and that's it. The Chinooks, I think, right?
Yeah, and they did pretty good. I talked to the company about doing them, but it's not worth the hassle. 8x10s work.
Well, let's
we'll
do that.
We got about a dozen of them. We'll see how they do on. If they all go, we'll get a bunch of more. What the hell?
Love it. Well, let's do this part right now. Above Jim's head, as I'm pointing over here, is the QR code for HacksawJimDugganShop.com. Get over there and check it out for signed Jim merch. And above me right here, look at that. I nailed it first time. It's the QR code for Cameo. If you want a personal message from Jim, a birthday message, if you want him to cut a promo on you, just say ho.
Happy
Jim,
birthday to
giving it away
you.
for free right now. Giving it away for free right now.
Well, you know, I've seen some other cameos. Hi, I'd like to say hello and happy birthday.
That's not Jim. You
I
put a lot
talked
of
to
effort
him.
in that.
Are you kidding? I enjoy talking to the fans, man. That's what the guys at Harpoon Hannah like. You want to take a break? I'm like, no. At this, people ask questions and there's not a line, and I said, come on, everybody, huddle up. It's like we're all one big wrestling family. Who's got a question here in the group? I enjoy the folks.
So once getting to go out and see Jim, a once in a lifetime experience. But if you can't make it out, Cameo is a good second option. Check that out. Check out hacksawjimdugganshop.com. Jim, with that, you know what time it is. I'm going to put you to work right now. You ready?
Oh, okay, Vince.
So I wish I had half, a quarter, a third, any amount of money.
No, brother, you got two loving daughters, a wife. You got a whole lot more than Vince McMahon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Money
sir.
doesn't buy happiness.
That's right. I'm reaping
It
the
seems
benefits.
like more of the
right
wealthy guys I know are the more unhappy guys.
That's because they never got to spend the time
So
with
I'm
their
really,
family.
really happy.
I'm like you, Jim, trying to have the best of both worlds. My two girls, my wife, house. Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right, let's go to work, kid.
All right, let's do it. So this week, Jim, it's another look back. Boy, do we get a lot of requests for this one online. It's another look back 35 years to SummerSlam 1990. And we passed the anniversary of it a few weeks back, and people are like, are you going to do this? Are you going to talk to Jim about SummerSlam 90? The time is here, pal. We're going to do it right now. And I guess let's start here. WWF is going to start to tease the split between Volkoff and Zukov in April 1990. And by May, they're officially split up with Volkoff in the babyface role. And you know what comes next. You're going to come out on the Brother Love show to give Nikolai your endorsement and present him with an American flag. So, Jim, this guy is going from being a hated Russian who's like spitting on America to now being paired with you, the American hero. What do you think about being paired with Nikolai during this time?
I just enjoyed being in the mix. That's the main thing. I was in there doing stuff and being in there with Nikolai. I thought it was a good deal. And they did the same thing with Slaughter. I think Mike, that was over so well with being who I am and doing the USA deal. People knew I love my country. So even after Sarge went against America in the Iraq War, where he had to have armed guards and stuff around his house, had armed guards bring him to the show. They're like, Duggan, go down there and turn him babyface.
That's all it takes. One endorsement from Hacksaw, and they're ready.
Yeah. And the same with Nikolai, because back in the day when I first came into the WWF, Nikolai would be singing the Russian national anthem, and I'd run down, I'd grab the cord, I'd cut the cord, and how far you go back to have to cut the cord, right? Everything's wireless mics now. It was in black and white.
Yeah, nowadays you have to stomp that thing to get it to stop.
Everybody drops the damn microphone. Back in the old days, you drop the microphone, that costs money.
Oh yeah, it's like
that
$300.
microphone, they're kicking the hell out of you. It's like boom, 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 boom. Bill Watson, have your ass and break that microphone.
Those sound guys would be coming to fight you. Forget about the heels. Were you concerned that the fans weren't going to rally around him even in spite of your endorsement, or were you pretty confident, like, nah, I can get him over as a babyface?
Yeah, I thought I could get him over, brother. I did. I thought the people were with me at that time, man, in my career. I think if people saw who I was, and it was a legitimate gimmick. It wasn't a gimmick. It was Jim Duggan. And I think if I came down and after fighting Nikolai, I tell you, what a stud Nikolai Volkoff was. I can't tell people. People don't know. Back in Mid-South, him and Manny Fernandez had a fight. and Manny couldn't fall down. Nikolai hit him, and he got him like with 3 uppercuts every time. Manny, boom, boom. He'd pick him up with the uppercuts. Nikolai, he had like a well over a 500-pound bench press. His chest would stick out like this. You could almost like set a can on his chest. Nikolai was an impressive, tough, and he could box. Nikolai was a stud. A lot of people don't realize what a tough man he was. But he was a gentleman. And not just a gentleman, he was a gentleman. And he was, I like Nikolai. He was a good friend. He had a crush on my sister, Sheila. Up in Glens Falls. Yeah, we went to we wrestled up at the Civic Center in Glens Falls, and my family came down, and he came out, and Sheila was there. He's like, oh, and that wasn't Nikolai, but ever since that show, we always talk about it. I enjoyed being with Nikolai, and I'm disappointed in Nikolai. He is like Lanny Poffo. He could have saved himself. He knew he was sick. He knew something was wrong. He just had to go to the hospital. They could have corrected it, but he didn't go, and he passed away. I mean, he was like, that's God's will. And I mean, Nikolai and Lanny was the same thing. It'll be okay. I'll take care of it later. As a survivor of 3 cancers, kidney cancer, skin cancer, prostate cancer, folks, please get your checkups, man, and get it taken care of. Yeah. Lanny and Nikolai both. But back to the good old deal. Yeah, I knew I could get Nick over. Are you kidding, man? And he was so straight and I was so silly. It was a good combination.
Well, something else they're doing at this time is pretty interesting. Earthquake is going to squish Hulk Hogan on the Brother Love show, and that's going to have Hogan do a stretcher job. And afterwards, it's going to be floated that Hogan's considering retirement, and Tugboat is going to take to the airwaves to encourage fans to write to Hulk and show the support. They also create bracelets for Hulk, which are sold at the merch stands, and you yourself, you're going to cover your 2x4 in these bracelets in support of the Hulkster. Apparently, Hogan was off to film a movie during this period, which is why they needed him off TV. Jim, what do you think about trying to rally fan support by selling these bracelets, and how much money did you get for these bracelets that you had on your 2x4?
I really don't remember that, Marcus. Tell you the truth. I know I had yellow ribbons all over my 2x4. I remember that. I have a lot of things over my 2x4, but bracelets for a Hulkster.
Yeah,
I don't. But I don't think it took bracelets to get Hulkster over.
No.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I'm sure. It had. It's like having his picture on this, right? That'll help get you over. Doesn't matter, you're over or not, you're over. And yeah, but I don't remember the bracelets, and I don't think they would help Hogan one way or the other, And merchandise wise, no, there's not a whole lot, but you do get residuals, and even for years after, my residuals were pretty decent, and then they weaned down. Then I got off the Legends contract, and they really fell through the floor. But now that I'm back on the Legends contract, they got the new action figures coming out. It's starting to pick up. But because I'm back in the day, we got nothing.
Yeah.
Mid-South, everybody had a Hacksaw T-shirt. Yeah. So to get a taste was good. Of course, could it be better? Big time, But like the payoffs could be better. Paying for the train, the hotel, the rent-a-car. It could have been so much better. But again, how can you bitch at 71 years old? I'm still squeezing a little out of the rag,
Things
and
all
it's
worked
not
out.
the Mid-South. It's not WCW. It's not WWE. It's the WWF, the Golden Age. Hogan, Macho Warrior, Jake. You can still name 10 guys without thinking about it.
Yep. As opposed
hard to name 10 guys on today's card. Name 10 guys, but Bret Hart. Just you can go on forever.
Yep. And as you said, it's like, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. Right now, if you said, Marcus, name 10 guys off the 95 Super Bowl winning Cowboys roster, I'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't think I can do it. But yeah, anybody can name wrestlers.
Yeah, and around the world. So yeah, when you see how much these guys make in other professions, you say, well, shit, yeah, it would be nice, I'm not jealous, but I'm envious. Yeah, I would have liked to have been making millions and millions of dollars. That'd been nice. But I live a comfortable life, and as we were talking earlier, money doesn't buy happiness. I hug Deborah every night, and I'm like, you can't buy this, man.
That's right. That's right. 2 girls, a house, your wife. Things are good. Things are good.
Things are good. Yeah, are you kidding?
While Hogan's away, you're going to be working with Earthquake on the house shows, and you're doing that spot, which is really cool. You're going to do it with Yokozuna, where you try to knock him off his feet and then finally get him at the end, which is getting a big pop from the crowds. Yeah, like I said, you did this with Yokozuna. Was this your idea, Jim? It's a really cool one.
Yeah, well, we're pretty limited in what we're going to do. I mean, you got 2 guys. You're not going to have Brett and Sean out there. And me and Big Quake, we're kind of limited. So, and we would tee off on each other too, brother. People say wrestling is fake. That was a 90% fucking shoot running into each other. We were wide open. Whoa, man, we whacked the shit out of each other. And I think that was real. People bought it. And we worked it so well. Both of them, Earthquake and Yoko, we used to call them Weeble Wobble, but they won't fall down. They'd be like, whoa, whoa. And I'd be like, oh, they're going to go. They're going to go. No, they didn't go. One more time. Oh,
I love the idea because we saw it with Yokozuna where it was like you hit him once, hit him twice, and the fans are starting to really get up for it. And you kind of look to them for support, and they really, really come up, and then you knock them down, and they go crazy. Just such a great idea to.
Oh man, and it was easy, and it set up the, so I think Fuji gave me the salt or magic dust, whatever it was. I think it was cocaine.
I was going to say magic dust.
No. But yeah, the salt or whatever. And there, people always say, I saw you throw a punch. You missed a guy by that much. That's for Yoko. He hit by that much, Fuji, they pulled me underneath the turnbuckle. Fuji put the flag underneath me, over me, I got this big, huge, giant eclipse of Yoko's ass going up on the rope. I'm like, holy smokes. I'm going to be a human suppository.
In that moment where you're like,
I'd be sticking out of his ass like a fish.
In that moment when you
that would have been a hell of a spot. No, but Yoko, the flag was over me. Yoko missed, and he actually hurt me pretty good.
Yeah,
he landed on me. Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, on my right side.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Was Earthquake pretty light when he would do that big ass?
Yeah, Quaker was. Yeah, both those guys I got along with, man. They're good guys to get along with.
I would say so.
But again, 2 big, impressive guys that were easygoing as could be. They were easy. But yeah, Big Quaker, I'll tell you a story though. We had this spot where I was supposed to do like a bump and a bump and a bump, and then roll out of the ring. And I took a bump and then a slam. Right. So I took a bump, and I started to roll out of the ring. And Quaker catches me by the trunk. He says, no, slam. I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot.
And then you roll out.
I was exiting stage left. I'm going to get out of here before that slam. And he caught me like, no, Duggan, we're doing a slam.
Did you forget, or were you like, I don't feel like taking this slam?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wrestler's honor.
There are some big arrivals in the Fed at this time too. I'd love to hear your take on them. First, the Road Warriors are going to debut with the company and immediately start mixing it up with Demolition. Jim, did you get to spend a lot of time with Hawk and Animal, and what do you think of their arrival here in the biggest stage in wrestling?
Yeah, well, I think they were probably a little ticked off because they had the Road Warrior gimmick going before Demolition, and that was, Bill and Barry are 2 ultimate professionals. Hawk and Animal were 2 different guys. Hawk was what you saw on television, man. He was crazy. You keep an eye on Hawk. He, we're on a road trip, and I had the Nasty Boys with me most of the time, and Greg had Hawk with him. So one day we switched up, and I had Hawk, and he had the Nasty Boys. About halfway through the day, we pull up at a restaurant or somebody pull up next to him. I said, Greg, I'll gladly trade you one Hawk for two Nasty Boys. And that's saying a lot if you know the Nasty Boys. They're nuts, they're crazy, you know. But Hawk was like, there were 6 of them. I knocked 5 of them out. Chased the other one down. I beat him up too. And then we went down there and I got another one. I beat him up too. And then where were the toughest people in Minnesota? I tell you, Robbinsdale. I'm like, yeah, I know. Got me off at the gym. He went AWOL in England right after.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Yeah, everybody's party. He went up before SummerSlam at Wembley, and he got so screwed he could barely make the show. He was out with a biker. And it was out with a bunch of bikers, and they when they said just take one in England, just take one. He might take one too many, So they get him done, and he went out with those bikers guys after he missed his flight. He was gone for over a week in England, just partying and living the life. Yeah, Hawk. He lived that Road Warrior deal. That was who he was, man. Like I said again, the best characters are just an extension of your personality, and Hawk was pretty much and what a rush. He was great. I thought he was a very good worker. First time I worked with him, it was a show. They were with AWA. I was Mid-South. We ran a double show together at the Meadowlands. And Larry the Axe was there. And but anyway, I used to do a spot where I had the two guys there. And I'd be ho, boom, run their heads together, Standard spot I do with tag team people. I never worked with Hawk and Animal. And then we're at the Meadowlands, the place is hopping, my fatal. And we came back and I said, hey, brother, sorry about that. He said, don't mention it again. I'm like, all right. Didn't mention it again. So.
And he didn't give you a receipt down the road?
No.
Oh, good. Okay.
No. Brother, back then I was kind of wild, man. I was about 300 pounds, I had a 505 bench. I used to go a lot. Me and Gordy, man. But, and a lot of those muscle guys, a lot of those big muscle guys, they got little tiny wrists and little tiny fingers, And we're size 20 ring.
You were nobody to piss with, that's for sure. You said you were benching 500 around that time, right?
That 505, yeah. At a competition, Magnum TA was there, yeah. Yeah, I was pushing some iron. Everybody was. And that's you're working with Barb and Warlord, right?
Yeah. I'll be fine, right?
Yeah,
I can bench like 225.
Well, okay. I tell you what, though, Marcos, you really might kill one of those guys.
I'm worried for him, dude.
You might get caught in the throat,
They're not going to show up. It'll be fine. Joe was, everybody says he was kind of like the more put together of the two, right? Like if you wanted to kind of really lay out the match and speak to the voice of reason.
Joe was business. Joe was business. Joe was the head of the two guys, and he had a family. I think Hawk had a family too, but yeah, Hawk was the crazier of the two. That's without question. And Joe was always business.
Now, the other arrival at this time is Carrie Von Erich. And of course, you've got that connection with the Von Erich family. His father is the one who brought you into the wrestling business. And you take a look at this guy, Carrie, and he's got every quality that Vince would want in a top guy. He's handsome. He's in great shape, tall. He's got a great
talking about Carrie or?
I thought you were
talking about me, brother. I'm sorry.
You, of course, is a given.
Yeah.
He just looks like a top guy. Did you feel like Carrie was going to become a big star in the Fed when he came in?
Yeah, I thought so. Carrie, he was a physical freak. He just always had that great. He trained hard too. but he had the genetics for a super body. Women loved him. But the guy had everything when he was 14 years old. He was already working at the sportatorium. He had money, he had drugs, he had women. When I broke in down there, all those boys, they all had their own home. Atkinson Lane, Jack Atkinson, that was the name of the road, and they had their own homes on it. So he was a little spoiled, a little conceited, maybe. And he ran with Rude, Bossman, and Kurt. But yeah, he had all the physical attributes to be one of the top guys, but I don't know if he had the mental capacity for it. If you're the marquee guy, man, you're doing PR, you're doing all kinds of stuff, and I don't know if he was capable of that. In ring, great, but there's a lot more to being the marquee guy than what you do in the ring.
I heard that, like, at this time he was hiding the fact that he had lost a leg in that auto accident.
I did not know that. Yeah, I didn't know he did not. Of course, he never changed in front of the boys. He never showered in front of the boys. But there was a rumor that he lost like some toes or something. Nobody knew the extent that he really lost. Pretty much his lower leg.
Yeah,
and to be able to work like that. Yeah, but it's a Von Erich curse. Again, money doesn't buy happiness. 4 or 5 boys gone. They all worth a fortune. Just a shame. Yeah. But and then looking at the guys, Bossman, Kurt, Von Erich, and Rude, all 4 of them, they were all tight as can be. All 4 of those guys are gone.
All the guys he ran with. Yeah, a little bit
Of course,
scary.
Piper, Dr. Death, and Terry Gordy, all my friends are gone too. Now we just lost a big man Hulkster. That was a tough one, man.
Oh, man. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of fans are still mourning that, of course, and it's fun because, like, it's fun in that a lot of the fans get to use our network, the Golden Era Network here, our YouTube channel, to kind of like look back and get to relive these memories. So it's cool because kind of like the memory of these guys live on as we discuss them here.
Around the world too, man. It's amazing, dude.
So Sergeant Slaughter is going to come back to the company at this time, and he's positioned as a heel right away. And this, of course, is kind of like the prelude to him becoming a Iraqi sympathizer, which we discussed a little bit before. Jim, I have to ask, had you spent any time with Slaughter following your very brief run in the old WWF when you mix it up with him?
No, we didn't ever run together at all. No, but I always got along with Sarge because he treated me good as a young kid. When I first was breaking in, he was cool with me. So yeah, I always got along with Sarge. Anytime we were close to Glens Falls, like my homie, he never want to wrestle a guy in his hometown. I got to shine tonight, brother. Bring your bumping shoes, kid. But I have my sister, my pop, everybody come down. He would come out and be very gracious and meet everybody and take pictures. And I always got along with Sarge and a great businessman. I mean, he had the camouflage limousine. What a great gimmick, driving down the road, a camouflage limousine. People are like, what the hell?
Not to mention the ultimate businessman, like you said, with that G.I. Joe deal. Boy,
G.I. Joe picked him up, man. And Sarge, I'm not sure how old Sarge is, but I know he's older than me, and he works hard, man. He works a lot. That's why I'm like going to be. People are going to be saying that it's where Duggan works a lot. They're like, where the hell is Duggan at?
Yeah, Jim.
Chickens.
I've noticed he's still out making a lot of the towns, much like yourself. So it's cool to see you guys still out doing it. Now,
yeah,
I do have to ask.
As far as he does the Cobra Clutch on the people,
yeah,
he locks it in a little bit, man.
There you go. You might get put to sleep by Sarge if you go out to see him. It's worth it.
It happened to me.
That's right. 1980
WWF, the
yep.
first big thing in my career.
Now, we know Sarge is going to get absolutely crazy heat with this. He's like leaving the buildings in the back of ambulances and police escorts. Rumor has it he even wore a bulletproof vest. Jim, hypothetically, if you had been asked to turn your back on America for a push to the main event as the top heel in the WWF, I mean, in the middle of that political climate during the Gulf War, do you think he would have done it?
Gosh, gosh, that's a tough one, Marcus. I did Team Canada, but shit.
I mean, the main event, you're gonna get a title push, all the benefits
Holy
that come with
shit.
it.
Yeah, but go against America during a war.
Oof.
Wow. I really don't know, man. Shit. I'd like to say, no, I wouldn't do it. Of course I wouldn't do it, but you're talking probably millions of dollars.
Yep, making the house
And
shows with Hulk.
it's just part of it's not you, it's part of the show. It's like that guy on Days of Our Life, that son of a gun.
Mhm.
And but shit, to do that, especially I do so much with the military, I do a lot with the wounded warriors.
Yeah.
Golly, I have to I can't give you an answer on that one, Mark. A straight answer. I'd have to talk that over with Deborah and shit. Yeah. That was a good question. I always tell folks, ask me anything. That's the first time I've heard that one, man. Now, shit, you are pretty good at this, kid. Shit.
Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, well, it's like, if it's not going to be Sarge, who was positioned as the American hero, like imagine Jim Duggan in that role, especially, not that long ago, we watched that great promo that you did where you're talking about the troops in America and all these people coming together. Imagine if just like 3 months later, you completely turned it around and now you're against America.
Holy smokes. God,
It'd
that'd be hard to do. Because so many people believe it. I mean, it affects, especially it was that was part of them, man. That'd be hard to do, brother. Holy smokes. Good question. Shit.
Thanks, brother.
Very seldom can I come up with no, I'm a gay day.
I think it's the only time I've left Jim speechless since I've known him. Well, something else that happens during this time is pretty crazy. Brutus Beefcake is going to suffer a horrible injury in a parasailing accident, and apparently bad enough that the future of his career is in jeopardy. Jim, I don't know if you remember, but apparently whoever was with him, his face was so badly destroyed. For those who don't know, he was out with friends parasailing. A girl was coming in, and her knees collided with Brutus Beefcake's face. It did so much damage to his face, broke all the bones, but like one of his friends who was there had to literally hold his mouth open so that he could breathe while the paramedics were on their way there, because it had essentially crumbled that badly. Jim, do you have any recollection of this incident?
Oh yeah. Beefer is a friend of mine. Like when I opened my gym, Beefer was one of the guys. Came over, him and Hulkster, Macho, in the Nasties. Were all pretty close back then. They all came over and opened my gym for me in Florida. So yeah, I know the story. They were all out parasailing, and they were parasailing, pulling people off land. Right. So they have the boat and person on the land, and boom, off they'd go. And somehow Beefer got in between the boat and the girl on the parasail. Boom, and the girl went up in her knees, and he turned around. She was just knee high. Boom, hit him in the face, crushed his face. Yeah, his face is. There's a picture out there somewhere of all the X-ray of all the screws and plates they had to put in his face. Not only going to save his career, but they're going to save his life. Yep. He was hurt bad. And of course, we can look at pictures of Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That's the guy's gimmick, Beefcake.
Yeah.
And before the accident and after the accident, it took its toll. It was so ironic that a guy named Beefcake would lose his very handsome features. Still a handsome guy. You know what I mean? He's a pretty handsome guy.
He's no Jim Duggan, but he's all right.
Yeah, handsome Jimmy Duggan. Are you kidding? But he came back from it, so you got to give him credit, man. Beefer's one of the survivors in the business, like Lombardi and stuff. People blast Lombardi. Hey, he's a survivor. To hang around this business for that long, double thumbs up, baby.
No doubt. And Brutus, much like you or Sarge, he's still out there,
signing autographs. He was one of the top guys, man. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He fit in with anybody.
And he catches a lot of flack. I see, of course, fan comments online all the time, and everybody's like, he was just a hanger-on with Hulk Hogan. And they say all this shit. But the fact is, he was an entertaining guy. You don't get to the Fed if you're not a talented person. And he was there for quite a while.
He carried his own weight. But, I tell you, I would like to be in Hogan's position where I could help a friend out.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, yes. Well, actually, I called Hogan a couple times.
Is that how you ended up in WCW?
Actually, Jimmy Hart called me on that one.
Okay, well, that's a good friend to have too.
Yeah, well, Hogan told him to do it, right? I mean,
he's a good man, and entertaining. I've been around him a couple times. He's a good storyteller.
Yeah, now there's trouble lately. I know he's been having some trouble lately. I guess there was a scene at the funeral, at Hulkster's funeral. I didn't actually see it. We paid our respects and pretty much left. But we heard there was a scene.
Probably for the vets, you didn't have to deal with that. Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, let's go with something good, brother. Where else are we going?
Here we go. We got a crazy story to tell you next, Jim, and it's about a crazy bar brawl involving Haku. Here's a report from the July 30th, 1990 edition of The Observer. WWF wrestler Haku and Brady Boone were arrested after a barroom brawl late Wednesday night near St. Louis, Missouri. The two, along with Kurt Hennig, were at Pop's Saloon, an after-hours place in Sauset, Illinois, that many wrestlers frequent after the clubs close in St. Louis. According to police reports, Jerry Bishop, a 5'6", 150-pound man, asked a woman who was talking to the three wrestlers to dance, and when he was out on the dance floor, Haku picked him up by the neck and threw him against the wall. As he was choking him, 4 bouncers went after Haku and couldn't subdue him, and he had one of them up against the wall as well. Finally, it took 6 police officers to subdue Haku, one of whom was a 6'6", 280-pound former boxer who ended up having to be examined in the hospital because Haku bit a chunk out of his back. Holy shit, Jim. Any chance you were there for that moment?
No, I sure wasn't. I know exactly where they're talking about. I know East St. Louis. I know exactly where it happened. I know everything. I know Haku. Bottom line, how do you think that worked out for Haku?
Probably not great. A good story, maybe.
Not good, brother. You don't fight a cop. You don't fight cops. You don't. He got maced. They beat him. They beat the hell out of him. You think you're going to bite a cop and not pay the price? They maced him. They beat him with clubs. They beat him at jail. They threw him down the stairs. They sued him. The guy that he beat in the bar sued him. The bar sued him. The bouncer sued him. Yeah, it's a great story.
Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars down the tubes.
Cost the guy an awful lot of money. Yeah. East St. Louis is a bad place to go, brother. Yeah, I went there one time. It was nothing but trouble, especially back then. I can take one of those wrestlers. I bet I can take one of those wrestlers. You guys with me? You ready, guys? And it's funny that only 2 or 3 guys got arrested.
That does make me wonder, right?
What was the third guy doing during this? Was he helping out? Was he taking pictures? Was he,
Kurt Hennig schmoozed his way out of it somehow, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, a smart move. If you're fighting the cops, the guy's fighting the cops. Don't jump in to help out.
No, that might be the time to leave.
That was a smart move. Yeah, Haku, I'm sure if you asked Haku, if all the great tough guy stories, biting the guy, and all those tough guy stories were not that happening, he'd take not that happening. That was a bad night for Haku.
Now, objectively, looking at it as a fan, it's like that is, if you count everybody involved, there was about 9 guys and Haku involved in this fight, and he got the better of a lot of them before they finally got him down. Jim, everybody says that Haku's the toughest guy in the history of the business. Do you agree with that sentiment, or do you think?
Yeah, I'd say Haku. Any of the Polynesian guys, Barb is bad too, man. I tell you, yeah. Haku is I was working with Haku in 1980 in Hawaii, man, and so Haku and I go way back. Yeah, he'd be the last guy you want to pick trouble with. And most people don't know how to fight. You know, most people get in a fight, they get hit in the shoulder. I'm hit. Oh, Haku, and you know, you can't hurt him. That's, you know, the derogatory thing they used to say about Polynesians, coconut head, and you know, stuff like that. And hard to hurt. And then, but you know, look at Ken Patera and the Japanese guy. I can't think of the Japanese guy. They got back to back. They got back to back in a hotel room or in a hotel hallway and just were killing cops. They were dropping them. Boom, boom. They had the cops piled up. And the cops finally all stood back and they pulled their guns and said, "Stop or we'll shoot you." So, you know, this, you know, I had my fights, but I never stuck around for the promos, you know. Boom, 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 boom. Honey, get the car. Boom, 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 boom.
And being the son of a police officer, I'd
you know,
imagine
that's how you get in trouble. I kicked his ass. I'll kick your ass. I'll kick. Put my hands where? What?
I know that
the action and get the hell out of Dodge.
I know that you were ready to take on all comers, but I know you as well, and you have a lot of respect for the police. I'd imagine if the police showed up, you'd be like, "Okay, this is."
Oh, I'd be yes sir, no sir guy.
Yep.
Yep. Even when I got popped with a Sheik, I got popped in a couple times. I got popped in Atlanta. I got popped in I can't think of it, Texas. Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi. So I've been popped a couple times, man, but I've always never give a cop a hard time. That's the stupidest thing in the world.
Nothing good can come of it.
This guy's got the decision to put me in jail or not. Well, yeah. I can kick your ass, but all these next 100 cops, I'm not sure about. Yeah, why not babyface it? Yes, sir.
It seems like a lot of the boys could have used that advice.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, let's get to SummerSlam. It takes place at the Philadelphia Spectrum in front of 19,000 fans. Big crowd there in Philly. Jim, I've heard that the Philly fans can be a little bit tough because they tend to like the heels and they like the blood and guts stuff. Did you get good reactions in Philly? You like working there? Yeah,
because I wasn't your typical babyface. You know, I come to people say, "Hacksaw, what was your favorite move?" I said, "I kick and punch." What are you talking about? I carry a 2x4. What's my favorite move? Talk to Brett and Sean about favorite moves, but and people like that about, and yeah. So I got Houston, Philly, Boston. Yeah, I got over in the bigger cities, I thought. I got over. I think I had a good run. I sure did. I was over. And without any huge big push, they kept me strong, but they never, really put the gas on me.
Well, this night it's going to be you and Nikita, not Nikita. Oh my gosh, the other Koloff against Pat Tanaka and Akiya Sato, the Orient Express, who are managed by Mr. Fuji. Sato and Tanaka, both really good wrestlers, well-established workers, had a lot of success in the Memphis territory and elsewhere. Any memories of Sato and Tanaka?
No, I knew Tanaka a little bit. I see him every once in a while. He'll show up someplace. Pat will show up, man. But yeah, we never really ran together or nothing. Who was my tag team partner? Boris Zirkov?
No, I got it wrong. I said Nikita Koloff. It was Volkoff.
Oh, Nikolai.
Yeah, Nikolai.
So yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time in the ring.
You don't think he was in there?
Nick was really good about the apron. Stay on the apron, Nick, that we have the finish. But no, I could work with Tanaka. Yeah, I worked with him down in Mid-South, and the other guy, yeah, I could pretty much work with anybody. Not have those, gimmick matches, because I did what I could do. I never tried to do so. I knew what I could do and what worked for me. And guys like a good example is Edge. When they brought me back to the WWE and I had to work with Edge, and Edge knew I was very limited, but he worked around me and made me look good.
And that's how you're supposed to do it. It's a dance partner, right? It's not an opponent.
Yeah, the guy's not your opponent. He's your partner, right?
Yep. Did you feel like you and Volkov had good chemistry as a team? Like, was it something that you would have wanted to continue doing, or were you happy to
Yeah,
kind
I
of move
like
on?
working with Nikolai. We got along. We didn't travel together. We didn't run. Nikolai was very frugal. He would cook in his hotel room. He'd have a hot plate and he'd cook in his hotel room. He saved his money. He was being known to be very frugal. Never went out and partied with the boys. But
Wow.
I always got along with Nikolai. And yeah, so back in Mid South, we'd work together in Mid South and got to know each other and respect each other in the ring, and it was believable. We had some believable matches in Mid South.
It was kind of a cool visual to see the two of you guys there. Like, he was still wearing like kind of Russian colors, and you've got
Yeah,
the American
Russian,
flag.
Russian, and I think it was just right after they tore the wall down, or right around then, or it was getting close to.
It would have been shortly after, yeah.
Right, yeah, that whole open with Russia. Because when we first went to Germany, man, we went to that checkpoint Charlie, and there's American tanks pointing at the Russian tanks pointing. You're like, holy smokes, what the hell's going on here, man? And then they tore the wall down, of course, but they kill all the Russian people. Like, they tore the wall down. The Russian wrestler, Nikolai Volkoff, all the guys, they tore the wall down.
It is kind of like art imitates life here. It's a cool moment to see you guys singing the
And
national
then
anthem
people,
before
of course, that's what I think we're going international now, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, it worked out well around the world.
Now, last question for you is, this SummerSlam is going to be the first SummerSlam without Hulk Hogan in the main event, and instead you've got the Ultimate Warrior as WWF champion. He's going to face Rick Rude in a cage match to finish the night. Reportedly, WWF officials were not satisfied with Warrior's run during this time, and I've heard quite a few people say over the years that, as a flag bearer, the company, couldn't really get behind him, or it just didn't really work out. Jim, there's no denying he was super over with the fans during this time. Why do you think his run with the belt didn't work out?
Well, as we were talking earlier, there's more to being the marquee guy of the company than what just you do in the ring. You do a lot of PR, you do a lot of glad handing, a lot of dinners, a lot of charity events. I mean, you're working all the time, just not your wrestling. So you're gonna, even though the guys were working a lot, the top guy, Hogan, or whoever was on top, is working twice or three times as hard. Every morning, pretty much back then, I'd have to do a phoner. I could do it from bed. My alarm be set, 7:30. Oh, hey, folks. I had the little interview down, I'll be in Montreal tonight. And but those top guys, it's just not your ring work. It's a lot beyond that.
Yep.
You got to
Going
be
out to
able
meet
to do
fans.
business, got to be able to travel, you got to be able to handle, Warrior, I don't think he liked people. Hogan, I mean, I think he liked folks. Warrior, I don't think he liked being around people. He wasn't a personable man.
That's
You know?
what the rumor always is. And it wasn't really passionate about the business for him. It was just like, I can make a lot of money doing this. This is what I'll do. And,
Well, the vehicle, yeah, which, pretty much the way I looked at it, though, Marcus, tell you the truth.
business, yeah.
It worked out great. Who would have thought, man? But yeah, but it's true. I mean, I wasn't one of those guys looking to be in the office and producing shows and still being with the company and all that. The farm is calling me. I got to get a rooster. We don't have a rooster yet. Our rooster died.
Oh, no. What happened to the rooster?
I know, sacrificed himself, I guess. We came home and he was chewed up a little bit. So,
Oh, man.
but all our chicks are still here, all our chickens. So something got in the yard.
Well, just
We
this
got
morning,
all kinds of stuff come by, So
oh, you
you
think
never know.
maybe he mixed it up with a fox or a raccoon or something?
Something, yeah.
Well, just this morning, I was telling my daughter Piper, who loves Jim Duggan, as we've discussed here on the show. I was telling her I was talking to Jim today, and she said, "How's his duck?" And I was like, I haven't asked him about the duck. Let's see how his duck's smiling.
Smiley's doing great. I was sitting on the porch. I was talking about the geese. Smiley was sitting next to me.
Piper
She's
will
been
be
on the
happy to hear.
porch, like, yeah, you geese stay down there. I'm up here on the porch.
She'll be happy to here to report that Smiley's
Well,
doing
she
all
gets
right.
in the house, especially a beautiful day like today. It's great here in South Carolina. You leave the doors open. She comes in the house, goes, eats all the cat food. The cats are like, what the hell is this?
I was telling her that sometimes you guys let the ducks and the chickens come in, and she was like, "Oh, that's so cool." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty
But
neat." Huh?
everybody else is like, what the hell are you talking about? You let that duck in your house?
I don't know. It's I'd take that over my cat, and I got to clean a box with all of his droppings in there. So I'll take the duck or the chickens anytime. Jim, what a pleasure as always to get to chit chat with you here. Boy, 35 years later, 1990. We will return to talk about it in November. Will be the next time we talk about 1990 to talk about Survivor Series that year. My goodness. But Jim, I'll catch you here in a couple of weeks. Where are you off to next, pal? So folks can come see you.
I got something outside of Boston. Actually, we're going to fly up probably like 10 days, 9 days from today. We're flying into Boston. We're going to go visit my sister. My other sister lives up in Maine. Going to go up and visit her, then come back and see my buddy Marty that has all the Macho Man collection and all that.
Yeah.
And then I got a show right outside of the Boston airport on Saturday.
Okay. It's keep your eye on Jim Duggan's social media. As you can see right beneath him, it's at Real Hacksaw Jim on X, WWE Hacksaw Duggan on Instagram, and Real Hacksaw Jim on Facebook. So go out of your way to check those out. And Jim, I'll catch you here in a couple of weeks on the Hacksaw Hour.
Well, always good talking to you, Marcus. I enjoy it. And of course, say hi to Piper for me. And since the little one's not feeling well, let's do one real low.
Here we go.
That's it, everybody. Thanks, folks.